Let me tell you the story of the rich kid who kissed the beggar's lips. His mother named him after John the Baptist, but Giovanni was hardly devout. As the son of a wealthy cloth merchant, the boy was a spoiled rich kid, frittering away his days listening to the troubadours in the marketplace. At night, he pranced from one debauchery to another, wasting his father's money on prostitutes. Yet he lived in disillusionment and despair. One day, a beggar in the marketplace asked Giovanni for a handout. His rich young friend shoved the panhandler aside, but Giovanni remembered a line he had heard at Sunday Mass. When you feed the hungry, you minister to Christ. He grabbed hold of the beggar, gave him everything in his pockets, and kissed him full on his lips. That evening, he informed his family that he wanted to give everything away to the poor. His enraged father forced Giovanni to enlist in the army, and he was sent off to war. When he returned home, he no longer wanted to party with his friends. They jokingly asked if he was planning to marry and settle down. He replied, "Yes, I shall soon wed Lady Poverty." He moved into a charity hospital where he fed and bathed the sick. On winter nights, he climbed into bed with lepers, wrapping them in his arms to keep them warm at night. With the Pope's blessings, he gathered disciples who gave away all their possessions to follow Jesus. They crisscrossed Europe, ministering to the poor, comforting the sick, and evangelizing the forgotten. Giovanni was the only missionary that the Caliph ever allowed to preach in North Africa. This supreme leader of Islam said, "He is the rarest of all Christians who truly lives out his faith." While still in his early 40s, he fell prostrate on the cold ground and he whispered, "Welcome, Sister Death." And then he gasped his final words to his brothers, "I have done my part. May Jesus teach you to do yours." You remember Giovanni by the name that his father gave him, Francesco. History memorializes him as Saint Francis of Assisi. His last words challenge each of us. Have we done our part? Now, if you don't know what your part is, ask Jesus. If you already know but find it impossible to accomplish, Jesus stands ready to give you what St. Francis said makes it possible. To give largely, liberally, and cheerfully requires a new heart. This is another amazing story from history. History, his story, God's story. His story is really your story too. So go out and write another chapter in your story, one of sacrificial giving. Remember what St. Francis said, to give largely, liberally, and cheerfully requires a new heart.
If you'd like to learn more about ordinary people with extraordinary achievements, small people who defeat the mighty, unlikely people God uses for His purposes, go to robertapeterson.org and order the Book of Amazing Stories. You'll be inspired and amazed.